Hello my friends, it's Drew the College-ologist, and today we're going to be going over what is probably your guys' greatest nightmare as a senior, trying to figure out how in the world am I supposed to pay for this college. And so this video is going to be all about financial aid. How do I get scholarships? How do I do a FAFSA? How do I do all these things that I need to do in order to get money to go to school? It's very confusing as a senior, I understand. We're going to go over everything that you need to know all right here. Please watch the end of this video because this is probably going to be the most important video I do all year. In order to figure out how to pay for college, we need to know what is it that we're paying for. And so anyone that goes to college, there's two things that you have to pay for, that you absolutely have to pay for in order to be sitting in class on campus in the fall. Now, living on campus, meal plan, all that kind of stuff is extra. This is what it takes to in order to be sitting in class as a freshman your senior year. So the two things you have to pay. The first one is called tuition. Tuition is the cost of your classes. And so this is paying for all your individual classes in one lump sum. That's tuition. That's the cost of your classes. That's the first thing. That's the most expensive thing that you're going to pay for. The second thing is called fees, student fees. Now, student fees, this is kind of a nebulous term. This can be a whole bunch of things. This can be your printer access in the library. It can be the research database that you have on campus. It can be the workout facilities. Literally everything, all the amenities, all the stuff that you get for being a student, that's paid for within fees. All right, so we know that we have to pay tuition and fees and maybe a couple other things at these colleges. Well, am I supposed to pay that all out of pocket? I don't have that kind of money. Well, what helps us pay all that kind of stuff is called scholarships. And so I'm going to show you there's 3 rounds of scholarships. 3 rounds.
Round 1.
Government scholarships. Government scholarships. And so the government, believe it or not, is going to help you pay for school. So number 1, if you guys have a 21 ACT or a 3.0 GPA, you already have the Hope Scholarship. And so the Hope Scholarship is funded by the Tennessee Lottery. If you have a 21 ACT or a 3.0 GPA, you already have the Hope Scholarship. And so the Hope Scholarship, it's $1,750 per semester for your freshman and sophomore year. Then that jumps up to $2,250 a semester your junior and senior year. So if you have a 3.0 GPA, you're already $1,000 there. You can't access that money yet, but that will be accessible a little bit later. Also from the government, there's something called the FAFSA. And we're going to get into the nitty-gritties of the FAFSA a little bit later. But the FAFSA, generally speaking, if your family income, and if your parents are divorced, it's whatever parent you live with. If your parent income is less than about $50,000, you're going to get something called a Pell Grant. That's a scholarship from the federal government. So Donald Trump's going to give you money. So that's the Pell Grant. And the Pell Grant, it can be up to $6,000 in scholarship money. It's different for everybody. It depends on how many kids you have. It depends on how much you have on your bank account. It depends on investments, and all of this kind of stuff. But there's money out there that quite a few of you will get. Not everyone's going to get, but quite a few of you will get some Pell Grant money. That's all coming from the government. From the federal government is the Pell Grant, and we also have stuff coming from the state government. That's the Hope Scholarship. All right, so that's the first round. Round 1, government.
Round 2.
Institutional scholarships. And that's a big word, institutional scholarships. That basically means scholarships that come from the college or the university that you're attending. And so every college is a little bit different in how they work. Some schools have a scholarship based on your ACT score. Some schools have scholarships for all types of things. And so ETSU, for example, they have something called an APS scholarship. There's different ranges of money that you can get for those scores. Also, after you do your application, there's something called a general scholarship application. Almost every school has this. Sometimes it's lumped in with your application for admission. Sometimes it's different. ETSU and Northeast, those are both different. And so imagine this. The university has a huge vault, a vault the size of a classroom, and it's stacked floor to ceiling with scholarships. And they get your general scholarship application. They walk into the vault, and they look up and down up and down, and see if your application matches any of the scholarships they have in the vault. And if they do find one, they're going to put it in your profile. If they don't, you just won't get it. Some kids get everything paid for this way. Some students get nothing. It's just really luck of the draw with these institutional scholarships. That's from the general scholarship application. Like I said, all colleges are a little bit different on how they work with these scholarships, and so I'm going to help you navigate that throughout the rest of the year with all the colleges that you're interested in. And number 3, this is the hardest one to obtain. It's called outside scholarships. Outside scholarships. And so this is basically anything. These are scholarships. It can be First Baptist Church of Irwin. It can be the Community Trust of Elizabethton. It can honestly be anything. And your counseling department is going to post these local scholarships. We're going to post them all year. And there's like national registries. If you Google scholarships to apply for, there's going to be all types of search engines that pop up that show you all types of websites with thousands and thousands of scholarships listed. Some of them are legit, some of them are not. Some of them aren't even worth applying for. So honestly, when it comes to these outside scholarships, you have to do a lot of legwork to sift through and find these. And it's a whole bunch of different applications to apply for. So outside scholarships are the toughest ones to get. Government, most of the time this comes through your FAFSA or through your ACT or GPA from the government. All students can qualify for these types of things. Institutional is based on the university, how they want to do it. And outside is really what you can find. So we've talked about what it is we have to pay for in college. We've gone over a little bit of an introduction on scholarships. Can we put that into action? Well, believe it or not, Drew the College-ologist is going to show you exactly what his financial aid looked like at ETSU, where I attended. I graduated in 2018. I'm going to give you an example of what my financial aid looked like. So ETSU, I'm going to break it down per semester because you pay for college by semester. You pay for fall semester, those classes, and you pay for spring semester in those classes. So they're separate. But I'm going to do ETSU per semester. So number 1, I said the first thing we have to pay for is tuition, the cost of the classes. So at ETSU, tuition is roughly $3,800. Just under $3,800. I'm just going to round it up for the easier math. Tuition is $3,800 a semester. So that's for a full load of classes. Student fees, the cost of being a student fees is about $960 a semester. So those are the 2 things you have to pay for at ETSU. If you're living on campus, you need to add that on here, meal plan, all that kind of stuff. But if you're living at home or apartment or whatever, these are the 2 things ETSU charges you in order to be sitting in class at ETSU in the fall. And so the grand total for ETSU is $4760 a semester. So ETSU gave me a bill for $4760 that semester. All right, so, and obviously I don't have that kind of money. College-ologists don't make that much money. So I needed scholarships to help me pay for this. So number 1, I had the Hope Scholarship. So I had above a 21 ACT and a 3.0 GPA. So the government, your freshman and sophomore year, like I said, $1,750 a semester. Junior and senior year, it goes up to $2,250 a semester. So I was a senior, so I hit $2,250 a semester. That's for the Hope Scholarship. That's from the state of Tennessee, the Hope Scholarship. And by applying for your FAFSA and having that ACT score or the GPA, you automatically qualify for this. The state gives it to ETSU to give it to you. After that, personally, I had a 27 ACT score my senior year. That means ETSU gave me, it's called an APS Provost Scholarship. And so it's $4,000 a year they give you. They split it up in half by semester. So they gave me $2,000 a semester for my ACT score at ETSU. So that was $2,000 for my ACT score. It's called an APS Provost. It's for my ACT score. So just with these 2 things right here, I'm at $4,250 a semester. So I almost have it paid for. I'm really, really close. That's pretty good, right? And But I had one more. In my specific situation, my parents are public school teachers. If you have a parent that's a public school teacher, you qualify for a tuition discount. So a public school or university will give you 25% off of this number right here, off of tuition. And so that happened to be $950. So my grand total was $5,200 in scholarships. So ETSU gave me a bill for $47.60 a semester. I had $5,200 a semester coming in financial aid. All right, so I was getting more in scholarships than I was being charged. And that means I get a refund. So I actually got $440 in my pocket per semester. So I made money going to ETSU. And like I said, everyone's situation is different. It all depends. Everyone's financial situation is different. Some of you might have a better ACT score than me. Some of you might get Pell Grant money for your FAFSA. You just stack that on top of here, and that shows you what you're going to pay for. As first semester seniors, don't rule out any college or university. Wherever you're looking, make that your goal, okay? Because the number one thing is to apply. If you don't apply, then there's no chance that you can afford the school. All right? So I want you guys to apply for wherever you're thinking, because you don't know how much it's going to cost until basically the college tells you how much it's going to cost. Because what happens, whatever schools that you apply to, in spring semester, they send you what's called a financial aid award letter. And what that is, it shows you all the scholarships that you're going to get to go to that school. So it'll have your Hope Scholarship or your Pell Grant, all that kind of stuff they'll have listed. If you want any ACT scholarships or any of those general scholarships, whatever you win at that school, it'll list it on a piece of paper. And then once you get that piece of paper, you'll know how much it'll cost you to go to the school, and you can make the decision whether or not you can afford that. So don't rule any schools out at the moment. I want you guys to apply for whatever school you're considering, because you don't know what this is going to end up like. You might think ETSU, I can never, ever, ever afford it, and they give you a ton of money. All right? I promise you guys, college is 100% affordable. All right? Even if ETSU doesn't work out as a freshman, guess what? Northeast State is paid for you for 2 years. That's basically 2 years of ETSU becoming free because you take all those classes at Northeast State. And you transfer it and finish with your 2 years left at ETSU, you get your degree. Half that degree is paid for by the Tennessee Promise. So at this moment, there's a college that's free for you. All right, so even if UT doesn't work out, there's a college at this moment that's going to be free for you as long as you do the Tennessee Promise application and all the stuff around that. So this has just been a brief overview of what financial aid looks like in different schools. I'm going to give you guys a checklist of what to look out for. So number 1, make sure to do your Tennessee Promise application. Number 2, you need to apply to the colleges that you're interested in. Number 3, do your FAFSA starting October 1st. Number 4, sometime around December, January, like I said, the general scholarship applications open up for the individual schools. So ETSU will have one, Northeast has one, several schools have them. Be on the lookout for them. I will send information about them as well. But number 4, make sure to do the general scholarship application. And then number 5, after you do those several steps, the 5th step is to wait for your financial aid award letter. And so sometime in the spring, the colleges are going to send out that financial aid award letter showing you all the scholarships that you've won. And it'll show you how much it's going to cost to go specifically to that school. And finally, all throughout the year, I'm going to send information about these things. You guys be on the lookout for things, but just look for /find scholarships. So just keep your eyes peeled for scholarships. The counseling office is going to be posting these. We're going to be sending reminders about scholarships. We're going to got all types of scholarships coming through all year. Keep your eyes and ears open for that. Do these things, and you guys will be in great shape. It's paying for school. Thanks.